chasing dreams and finding nightmares. Now, the reality is, there is no clear path to success in the music business. And really, you are just chasing dreams, pipe dreams, imaginary goals, things that never really existed. And now that the music business has become what it is today, do these opportunities even exist? Pop music seems to be infiltrated with this filthy, dirty, nasty stuff that's way worse than heavy metal ever was. The reality is you're chasing dreams and potentially finding nightmares. The music business can take you to very dark places. Becoming a performer can take you to a very sad state. The reality is, if you're going to embark on a career in music, then you best be prepared for what is about to happen. You will be rejected many times. Now, the reality is rejection is a huge part of life, but nobody deals with rejection more than a musician. And man, in the early days of promoting on the Sunset Strip, handing out flyers, man, dealing with rejection over and over and over again. Now, I learned in facing people and going up to people and talking to people and having real human contact that the reality is this. You've got to work on your sales skills. If you're going to be a musician, you're also a salesman. And you might not be going, knocking on doors and selling books, selling encyclopedias. But the reality is, every time you talk to somebody about your music, that is a chance to sell what you do. And man, working on the Sunset Strip and handing out flyers on the Sunset Strip, I quickly learned how hard that can really be. Imagine going up to every random group of people you see and pitching your band. That is exactly what we had to do. And we were armed with flyers. And you would hand the flyers to people. Now, if all you did was, here, we're playing Friday, they would throw that flyer on the ground, and that would be a wasted opportunity. When you hand them that flyer or you tell people about your band, that is starting a conversation. A flyer was just a conversation starter. And they would look at the flyer, and if you stood with them and said, hey, this is my band, and they'd read the band name, and we're playing this club, and we're playing on this night, and that's me in the picture, and they would look at the picture, and you go, hey, what kind of music are you into? And you start a conversation. You find out more about them. You don't just talk about yourself. And you find out who they are, and you find, if they say, oh, I love this band, something, I love that band too. And then that instantly starts a conversation. When you start a conversation like that, when you find out about somebody, you're creating a relationship. And, when you're early starting out in the music business, you have got to create relationships. It's all about that. And whether you do it online, or whether you do it person to person, or whether you do it from the stage, you're still selling yourself. Now, dealing with that rejection, imagine dealing with 100 no's every night. Imagine dealing with 1,000 no's. Imagine putting out your music on the internet and being so excited, and you put it out. And you think, man, this is going to be good. And you think you've built a following, and you think that, you did some stuff in the past, and you think that you're going to automatically get plays. And then you put it out and you get 20 plays, or you get 30 plays, or maybe you get 100 plays. That can be so discouraging, man. The reality is this. I played for tens of thousands of people on the road, but playing for an artist. So I was an unknown entity, but I knew I had met a lot of people along the way. I created a lot of relationship over the decades of my life. And you can't expect even your friends to give you a sympathy spin. The reality is They're not fans. They're your friends. And so dealing with that, putting out music and not getting plays, that is the reality for the majority of musicians out there. But dealing with that rejection can make you throw in the towel. It can make it feel like nobody cares. Why do I bother? Why do I put the effort in? Man, that can take a psychological toll on your mind and your ability to create. Because, man, nobody wants to do a thankless job. And sometimes being a musician can be absolutely that, a thankless job. But, man, it's important to realize that, like I said, you've got your family and friends, and you can't rely on them to give you spins. You've got to build the fan base. And I have learned this way too late in life. I got off the road and put out albums and thought, things would happen and think I would get plays, or thought I could, buy people to promote my record and they would promote the record. And none of that works. And man, it took a toll on me because I realized, man, I'm spending a lot of money producing this music, but the money is not returning. I'm not even breaking even. I'm losing money. And that can take a toll. I know better now than to release music until I've built this community on YouTube. And I'm going to continue building it. If I get to a certain point, then I may put out a single. Then I may put out an EP. I don't expect to get rich from it, but I do expect that it will do much better than if I had not built this community on YouTube and then put out the music. So that's an important lesson. You've got to build your fan base online these days before you put out any music. And that can be extremely tough. It can be extremely daunting if you're an older guy like me. It can be extremely daunting for a young person. But, people are doing it. People are making it happen. And you've got to put in the work before you put out the music, or that rejection can just kill your desire to even make music. Now, for you younger people out there getting into the music business, and maybe you get a deal, and maybe you get, some radio play, or you get some exposure, or maybe you're just an independent artist that is starting to blow up. I know there's artists like Luke Combs out there who started their career on YouTube, and now they're a huge star. And, they're out there, and I got a friend that's working for Luke Combs right now, and I know they're working their butt off. And I don't know, do you really know how hard it is to be on the road, to be on tour? Now, I know he's had great success, and so they're touring at a very high level, and they're packing arenas, and he is a headliner. And that is a much more comfortable existence. But man, being a mid-level artist, it can be a brutal grind. And man, you could tour all year and you could be getting paid at every show and still at the end of the year owe money. Van Halen on their first tour, their first album, and they sold 1 million records, and they get home at the end of the tour and they found out they owed the record company money. The reality is it's very expensive now to be out on the road. So even if you're an independent artist and you're selling tons of merch and you're getting paid for your shows, man, it can be a brutal grind. And at the end of the year, you could still be broke. Now, many people, in the music business, many people who try to get out there and they're working their butts off and you're partying, man, let's face it, dealing with that after stage high. I'm talked about it on this channel, but that can be a brutal thing because there is no greater high than performing before a huge crowd. And the reality is this: coming down off that high, managing that high is maybe the most important thing you can figure out to do. For me, It wasn't a pretty scene. It just I needed alcohol to get on stage, to loosen up, to be ready to go out there and act like a maniac. And then when I got off the stage, I was so pumped up that I needed more alcohol to come down. And that can be a brutal cycle that you will have to deal with. Be careful how much you're drinking out there. Be careful what people give you to keep you going. You know, they want you out there and they will tell you, dance, monkey, dance. You'll say, I'm tired. And they'll say, dance, monkey, dance. And that is the reality, man. It can be a brutal grind on the road. You may find yourself relying on artificial means to prop yourself up on stage, to put yourself to sleep after the show, to wake yourself up in the morning. And just like Elvis, it can end in a tragic way. And like I said, man, you know, having a creative life and the dreams of the music business can turn into nightmares, because then you're dealing with substance abuse. Then you're dealing with, dealing with your emotions and dealing with your feelings and dealing with all the rejection, even if you're a successful music artist. Imagine having to get up each day and click on social media and somebody reviews your show. And imagine that you thought, man, I had a great show last night. It was a lot of fun. And I didn't drink too much when I got off stage. And you get up and you see somebody has posted a terrible review of your show. It's all over the media. Somebody said, oh, your show sucks or this and that. And man, you're still dealing with the same rejection. You're still having to deal, it becomes being in the circus. You're going out there, you're the lion in the circus, and every day the lion is let out of its cage and the people ooh and ah, and you roar and you pounce, and the people say it's wonderful. But doing that day in and day out and getting put back in that cage. I had somebody in the early days, a troll on my channel, said they kept you in a cage for 12 hours and let you out for 90 minutes each day, and you went crazy. And that is absolutely true. You are trapped on that bus. You are trapped by your fame. You are trapped and you can't go anywhere without somebody recognizing you or somebody wanting something from you. That has got to be a lonely existence. And like Elvis trapped in Graceland, he surrounded himself by friends. He surrounded himself by family. But still, deep down inside, he felt alone. He felt empty. And he tried to fill that emptiness and that lonely feeling. He tried to fill it in the wrong way. And look at how it ended in a tragic manner. Dreams of the music business can often lead to nightmares. And man, if you're going to get into this business, if you're young and you're just starting out, this might be the most important message that you're going to ever hear, because I'm going to give you nothing but the truth. And if you're just tuning into this channel for the first time, you need to subscribe, because I'm spitting nothing but truth. And this is a very important lesson for all to hear. Whether you're young, whether you're old, the truth about the music business needs to get out. And people need to hear how it really is. Sometimes your dreams can become nightmares.